Hello and welcome back to John's Fiddle Lessons at BluegrassDaddy.com. This is a series on reading tablature, and this video is on how to learn the timing associated with the tablature. So you can see the tablature down here, and we're going to start off with a very simple note. This is called the whole note. Now to the left of the tablature you see E, A, D, and G, the strings, and the 4/4 means that our timing is 4/4, and what that means is you get 4 beats per every measure. And when I say beat, that will be a quarter note because there are 4 quarters in a whole. And so throughout this, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Each of that time I count will represent 1/4 of the measure. So a whole note will be held out for 4 quarters. Now you see there's a whole note all by its lonesome in the first measure. In the second measure, on the other side of the dividing line, that's the second measure, you have another whole note on the A string. One more thing to tell you about. Below the whole note, the first whole note, you see a down arrow. Traditionally in old-time music, a down arrow means you pull the bow down. See how it's disappearing off the screen? That's a down bow. The up bow in the next measure goes like this. The bow is going upward. And so that's a little up arrow. All right, so let's play these whole notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are whole notes. All right, let's scroll down to measure 3. Now the way you can tell this is measure 3 is because in the upper left corner you see the tiny 3 in the upper left corner of the leading measure. This means it's measure 3. That means the measure beside of it to the right is measure 4. So I'll say, okay, beginning with measure 3, we're going to play half notes. Half note looks like a quarter note, except you see down below, there is a little vertical slash below the G string there. And that little vertical slash means this is a half note. The whole note didn't have that little vertical slash. So we'll play 2 half notes per measure. So each of these half notes get 2 quarter counts because a quarter is half of a half. So there's 2 that goes into the half. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Let's scroll on down to measure 5. So you can see the 5 in the corner. And this measure plays quarter notes. Now, below a quarter note, you see a long vertical slash. The half note was just a little short slash lower down, but now the quarter note is a long vertical slash. And you see I can put 4 of them in a measure. And they go along with my counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go down to measure 7. Now measure 7 contains eighth notes. The slashes, there are these vertical slashes below eighth notes as well, but you can see how 2 eighth notes are joined together by a horizontal line at the bottom of the vertical slash. That's how you can tell they're eighth notes. Now sometimes there's an eighth note that stands alone. In that case, at the bottom, instead of connecting something, it just has a little check mark. Okay, to indicate that it's an eighth note, not a quarter note. So if you count these, there are 8 of them, eighth notes in the measure. So when I count to 4 now, each count gets 2 eighths because an eighth is a half of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's move down to the ninth measure. Now the ninth measure, we're getting really fast now. These are 16th notes. And you see they're joined together at the bottom of the vertical slashes with a double horizontal line. Sometimes when a 16th note stands alone, it's just a double check mark. And if there are two 16th notes together, they're tied together just like an eighth, except that line is double horizontal at the bottom. So now when I count to 4, how many notes do you think I'll put in? That's right, 4 notes for every quarter, because the 16th note is a quarter of a quarter note. So here's what it sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's move down to line 11. With line 11, or rather measure 11, measures 11 and 12 get a little tricky, because here we have something new. This is a dotted note. So what you see, it looks just like a half note, except there's a dot to the lower right of the number. This shows that you hold the note 50% longer than you would normally. So if a half is 2 quarters, a dotted half would be 3 quarters. So in this measure, the dotted half lasts for 3 quarters. That leaves 1 quarter left to make your whole measure. And so for our last quarter, you see we have a rest. That is a quarter rest, so that's what that looks like. A half rest, I don't think I have in this practice, but it's a little rectangle. But this strange shape is a quarter rest, and that means we're just going to stop playing and not play at all during that portion. I'm going to play this twice through. So I'm going to repeat and play the 11th measure twice, 11th and 12th. Then I go back and play 11 and 12 again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's move on to the 13th and 14th measures. Now this is a very tricky measure. And you see that starts off with a quarter note that's dotted. That means if a quarter note is the same as 2/8, a dotted quarter is 3/8. And then the next note is a standalone eighth note. You see the check mark at the bottom? So there's 3/8 for the dotted quarter. And another eighth that stands alone, that's 4/8. So that's half of our measure so far, 4/8. And so the next half of the measure, I'm going to do eighth rest, eighth note, and an eighth rest. And so when you see that eighth note, there's beside it an eighth rest. That strange shape means you rest for an eighth of a measure. So let's play that together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as I play that, I actually forgot to play it up on the A note like I should. So maybe on the tablature, I'll just make all of that on the D string. That's good. So let's move on down to measure 15. Measure 15 is called a dotted eighth and a 16th note. And so if an eighth note is 2 sixteenths, then a dotted eighth is 3 sixteenths. And so This is a pattern that you see a lot. It's not just for practicing strange timings. You see this. Let me give you an example. Dun, 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 dun. Like that. It gives that sort of a feel. It's a little bouncy. So let's play our dotted eighth and 16th together. It's one, every time I get a count, I have one of these. So each quarter count includes a dotted eighth and 16th. 1, you see there's 4 of them. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a dotted eighth and 16th pattern. Now we're getting to measure 17 and 18. This is sort of where we turn to bluegrass. And that is the shuffle pattern. This is real heavy in bluegrass and Cajun music. And here we have a long, short, short, long, short, short. And our long note here is going to be a quarter, and our short notes are going to be eighths. So we go down bow for a quarter, up, down for eighths, up bow for a quarter, down, up for eighths. So a quarter plus 2 eighths plus a quarter plus 2 eighths adds up to your whole measure. So play along with me, starting with the D string open, down bow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's your shuffle. Next, we'll play the shuffle again on measures 19 and 20. However, it's going to be faster. Because this shuffle, the long note is an eighth instead of a quarter, and the short notes are sixteenths instead of a quarter. So here we go. This is going to be fast. Play along with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very nice. The last pattern we're going to learn is the double shuffle. And you hear this a lot, like songs like Back Up and Push or the Orange Blossom Special. And so we're on measures 21 and 22, we're going to play a double shuffle using eighth notes. And a double shuffle is low, low, high, repeating. Low, low, high, low, low, high, low, low, high, low, low, high, low, low, like that. High. And so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And last of all, on measures 23 and 24, we're going to do the double shuffle pattern again, except this time with 16th notes. All right, here we go. Try to keep up. We'll do it one time through, 23 and 24, and then repeat it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so our last video on timing is going to be one where we go through all of these bowing patterns to music. And so it's a fun exercise. You can just play along with the music and practice all of these different timings and bowing exercises.